Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to American Trucking Simulator and Trucking Talks Tuesday. Yeah, I think that's going to be the official title, Trucking Talks Tuesday. I know, a little dyslexic, all over the place, doesn't know what he's doing, but we figured it out. If you like what you're seeing, like, subscribe, share, and comment, especially like and comment. It really does help out with the algorithm, especially when, still starting out and all that stuff. So, what are we doing today? Well, we get comfortable here. We are moving, a tractor drone. And we are going, where are we headed to? Bakersfield. Wait, are we in Cali? Dang it. Oh well, we'll figure it out. So, tell me how y'all doing. Leave something in the comments about how you're doing, how your day is going, what your week been like, and, just overall, what's up. Just trying to start discussions. So, today, well, actually, over the past week, while chilling with my little toddler son, I've been watching Ancient Apocalypse, the second season, which is the Americas, and my god, it is epic. I've been following Graham Hancock for a while here, and that's the guy who puts on Ancient Apocalypse. Haven't read his book yet, which is on my to-read list, which I can't wait to get out there. But alternate history is something I've been a big fan of for quite a while. It's like he goes to Easter Island with the headstones that are in the ground, and I've been fascinated with those for quite a while because our history does not add up. There's lots of things that are missing. I really do believe that humanity's been around a lot longer than what people have said, and I genuinely believe that society has been around a lot longer than what people have said. I firmly think that the Neolithic Age is probably a lot further back than what we think it is. Were there people who were around who were using stones and tools even 4,000 years ago? Probably. Why? Because they're still doing it today. Ooh, I'm speeding quite a bit. So yeah, there's still tribes that we're finding all over the place, whether it's the Amazon, Africa, Papua New Guinea, just deep in various places that still use stone tools. Hell, even here in the Americas, it wasn't up until a century ago that people around here were starting to move away from stone tools. It's not that bizarre of an issue or bizarre reality that even 20,000 years ago, maybe there was an advanced civilization, and not advanced in the sense like, oh my god, they had spaceships and all this stuff, and they had teleportation. No, advanced in the sense like along the lines of Greek or Roman history, because Graham Hancock goes into about this written text that was found on Easter Island that shouldn't be there because they've never had a written language, and there was no need for a written language with the size of their tribe on that island. It would necessitate a vastly larger civilization, which is a valid point. Communication is one of the most fundamental instruments to an empire, or even a civilization. When you're a small little remote community, you don't need to write things down. You can just go talk to people. But once you start going further, you start making historical records, all that stuff. And yeah, you need to start written language. You need to explore ideas more. And this stuff is indicators for different types of societies. And I'm taking a really wide turn here. Yeah, that's a rightfully deserved ticket there. Well, it was red light, but I was going through a green light, so what do I know? But a prime example of this is one of the indications for empires, and what made Rome so powerful was its highways, its roads. The Roman legion could just bulldoze anybody because of the road systems they had. They could move entire legion. You were expected, what was it, 32 miles a day as a Roman legion? And that's breaking down camp, marching, and then setting up camp. And every legionary had, what was it, 3 slaves with them? And then animals to boot with that? Like, you're talking of an incredible feat. Try getting the Canadian military to go frickin' 15 miles, and I bet you they can't right now. Most of their stuff's busted or broken down. And hell, they use gear from World War II. Still, and tactics that are just ways of... The guys I talked to in the Canadian military, they said a lot of the stuff they have is still Canadian World War II era. And it's just absolutely insulting that this is still a thing. Then you have the Romans who are just like beasts and then just can move entire, like, small cities worth of people just countless miles and dominate their enemy. And that's where they had their strength. Also, they had their ingenuity when it came to, like, you know, adapting military technologies. So, like, Julius Caesar, one of the famous ones he did, was that huge battle against the Gauls. I don't quite remember the name of it, but it's the one where he was sieging a Gaul city, and then 50,000 Gaul warriors versus his 20,000 decided to come up behind him and be like, yeah, we're going to kill you from behind. But he already had a 2-wall perimeter set up, and it's like, nah, that's not going to happen. And they ended up being victorious and defeating him. Hey, this is why when the 3 Roman legions went through Tenebrae Forest, is that what it's called? The one in Germany where 3 legions got wiped out? It's because they weren't on their terms. And they were column formation. I think that's what it was? Yeah. But they were caught completely, like, they were slowly picked off throughout the forest. What's going on with my cruise control? Well, need to pay attention. Doing 40 zone. Whoa, fire truck. Ah, Kenworth. Don't like your horn. Irregardless, when Graham Hancock talks about the Younger Dryas event, how the glaciers and the Ice Age rapidly melted due to a catastrophic event. Where I live in Alberta, shout out Alberta, Alberta Pride. Also, trucking simulator, you really need an Alberta one. Screw the rest of Canada, you just need Alberta. But there's literally, you go to Lethbridge, there's the coulees down there, there's the canyons all throughout there. It looks like they were just carved like crazy by some dramatic event. And I remember my teachers when I was a kid saying water was that high at one point. And it's just trying to fathom how, where did it go? And they just chalk it up to global warming, and I'm just like, that's not a thing. You see random boulders that are not the same geological type for the rock and soil around, just everywhere. And you can see how this province was touched by something. If you go into northern Canada, there's meteor impacts all over the place, and this is things that are just starting to come to light. And it's kind of like we don't know what our past is, and the fact that so many people can say, no, it's this, we're only this old. I remember this story, and it was a conspiracy about over a decade ago, where this scientist in Mexico, like, the common theory up until recently was, oh, humans have only existed in North America for 13,000 years. Yet this lady found graves that were like 30 or 40,000 years old, and she got rushed out of the academia. And that was a conspiracy, and that was before I ever heard Graham Hancock. And it was just, that was part of my curiosity of how, like, something is being hidden here, and we need to ask more questions. And this is where Graham Hancock, in this new series, spoiler alert, I highly recommend you watch it. Oh, got a sharp turn. He uses LiDAR to start going through the Amazon, and they start finding all these like remnants of like civilization, of these structures that were there that nobody can account for. And we're starting to determine that even here in North America, the Aboriginals and Indigenous probably had cities. They most likely did. And it's not completely bizarre to think of that. Maybe not as far north as Canada, but definitely in the US they had cities. This should not be, for whatever reason, for academia, and I do firmly, and I'm going to call out the woke professors on this one, and the stupid progressive left, it's like they need Indigenous to be savages. They need them to be that noble savage, because it justifies their beliefs. But it wasn't like that. They had their nations, they had their cities, they had their own ways of doing things, and that's okay. If it's accurate, it's okay. You know, the Aztecs, the Incas, and the Mayans had all their civilizations. Why couldn't the Hopi? Why couldn't the Navajo? Why couldn't the Comanche? Why couldn't the Blackfoot? Why couldn't the Cree? Or the Iroquois? The Iroquois just devastated everybody around them, and there's a reason why they controlled so much territory. You go to, again, Lethbridge, the last great Indian battle. It was the Cree versus the Blackfoot. And why? Because the Cree used to come down, and they made jokes about this from the Aboriginals I knew. Oh yeah, we stole all their beautiful women. That's why the Blackfoot are ugly, and why our Cree women are so beautiful. The story that's being told now is not reality. It's not truth. There's semblance of truth in it, but for the most part, it's not. Now, when you start talking about the ancient, like, alternate ancient civilization or advanced ancient civilizations, a lot of people start throwing out the whole entire ancient alien stuff. I think that's a quick cop-out. I think it's deliberate disinformation, and actual disinformation, not progressive disinformation. It's kind of like there's all these myths from the past. All these civilizations have similar flood stories. They have similar origin stories. They also have similar ancient, like, disappearing civilization stories, like the Atlantis and all these other various stories that are very similar to Atlantis in the Pacific and the Indian Ocean and all throughout the world. Why aren't we allowed into the Sahara? Why aren't we exploring the Sahara Desert more for the ancient remnants of civilization there? Sand's going to destroy ruins just as easily as jungles will. And there's evidence now that, the Amazon wasn't as prevalent as it was 12,000 years ago, which blew my mind. We need to take this stuff seriously. And far, far too many professionals are not. Like, the one that's always been curious to me is High Brazil off the coast of Ireland. That is a curious one that I'm interested about. Okay, we got a turn here. This game looks really beautiful right now. I'm trying to get more scenic shots for you guys. Actually, just a quick little thing about production. What I'm thinking about doing is just doing actual driving gameplay footage, and then syncing it up with me just doing commentary over it. I would like some feedback on that one. Should I stick with this current one? Because it can get a little dull if I'm not looking around, but then again, if I'm focusing on looking around, it's hard to stay on conversation sometimes. And to get the scenic shots, I was thinking, hey, maybe I should just chat with you guys, like dub over footage. It helps out me trying to figure out video editing more and voice editing, but also it might be a better just overall type of production. I'm lacking for words right now. But yeah, tell me what you think about ancient civilizations and what your thoughts are, because I think this is stuff that we really need to delve into more. Like some of those lost tribes throughout like Indonesia and Papua New Guinea and that stuff. There's not enough being explored into that idea. Like, I was listening to a video, and it was Wartime Stories, I believe it is, on YouTube, which, shout out to them, go to them. They do like horror stories type things from, oh, it looks like there's like smoke or light or something over there. Is that smoke? It's hard to pay attention. Anyways, they were talking about giant spiders that were seen in wartime. And they were talking like Africa, Belgian soldiers and French soldiers in the Congo scene. Oh god, something. It's a giant spider, and there's myths of it. And the local Congolese people, they're like, oh yeah, these things exist. I don't know what's like. You guys say they don't, but they do. And then the other story was like of Marines that were in Papua New Guinea and taking on these giant, like, emerald green spiders. And then there was like Vietnam soldiers who like had to deal with tarantulas the size of cats on some of their patrols. Like, there's several. Some of them were documented too. The Belgian one was documented, but they lost the documents or something because an entire patrol went missing from these giant spiders in Belgium. Like, it was like a patrol of, like, I think like 5 to 10 guys. Only the officer and one of the local African mercenaries made it back. I swear to God, if there's one of those, please, God damn it! I knew it. What? Wait. Okay, let's try to do some stuff here. Because you guys, every time, I swear I put it on low. Whatever. Slight delay. But yeah, it's different things like that. Like, different cryptozoology stuff, or just... It was a statistic I heard is something like we only know about 25% of the species on our planet. And people want to say that things don't exist. Like, I remember there was this footage that I saw because somebody was going into the topic, like, we don't know about all the species out there. And he was talking about how, like, there was this species of I think it was not apes. I think it was orangutans, a monkey primate species of some sort. And it was said to be like, no, they're extinct. And yet, it wasn't until 2013 that somebody got video footage of this. And people are like, oh, I guess it does exist, okay. And it's just sheer arrogance, just pride on some of these either anthropologists, archaeologists, and zoologists. Like, oh, what we found is what we found. It goes back to my theory that the worst thing about humankind is our inability to admit when we are wrong. That is the worst thing about us. And it's one of the number one things people need to learn to. Bury your frickin' pride and learn when you're wrong. Accept reality for what it is. Challenge things by all means. Nobody should blindly accept this stuff. Because this is how we end up in the I don't know how many genders there are type topic. And I just got busted for speeding. But this is how we end up in those situations. Is because not enough people are challenging things. But we need to do it, like, constructively. You can't just blindly say something doesn't exist and not explore potential outcomes. How many ancient ruins are all across North America that hint towards something else, and you're all like, yeah, no. The crazy one for me is, I think it was in China. They found pipes in a mountain. Pipes, metal pipes in a mountain that are something like 100,000 years old. Or that screw that was found in a rock in Russia. Okay, you say it's a natural process. Prove it. You can't just say it's something and then just brush it off. That looks like a screw. I've seen the photographs. It looks like a screw in ancient rock that is like possibly hundreds of thousands of years old. Who says some prehistoric species didn't get to a civilized type level of civilization. Who says they didn't evolve to that and then at some point a comet or something wiped them out? It's a possibility. We don't know that they didn't advance to that point. Just because we don't see any evidence like, in space or anything on land. Look at Detroit. Look at the abandoned areas of Detroit. How long have they been abandoned? And they're already being overgrown by plant life? It does not take long. My dad left a piece of farm equipment out this spring, and grass has overtaken it. And the sand blows and overtakes it. We have a horse arena, just an outside arena, like a little pen, and it's pipe fence. So like you use like pipes for like oil industry, and on the one side, the wind has completely sank half the fence in sand. Like, the powers of nature are absolutely wonderful. And this explains how easily that in the Amazon or in the Sahara that stuff can disappear when not being looked after. The Sphinx was buried. We don't know how long the Sphinx has been around. And yes, we don't. And it's crazy to believe that somebody like Cleopatra Cleopatra's existence when she was alive is closer to the invention of the iPhone than it is the construction of the Great Pyramids. That is a factual thing. The Great Pyramids of Egypt are far older than people think. And then there's the pyramids in China that the Chinese government won't even allow us to access. There's the pyramids in the Balkans. There's the pyramids in Sudan. We need to explore these ruins more, because if we don't know where we came, if we don't know the mistakes we made in the past, how are we supposed to keep going in the future? And this is where I go back to my theories, and I write this into my novels. I firmly believe there's a section of our civilization, once we get to a certain point, that is just hell-bent on the destruction of society. And they wish to sow chaos wherever possible. They don't want you to know those secrets. They don't want you to discover how we screwed up in the past. They don't want you to know where you came from. Why? Because then they can write their own narrative. And then they can... That's more on the conspiratorial side, or the behavioral side of psychology and philosophy. Nevertheless, it's still a prevalent thing. How far away are we? Oh, we're not far. Okay, I'll leave that up for now. And it's really dark. Really dark. I can't believe I got 2 tickets. Lost like $500. Bullcrap! Bullcrap! Anyways, that's one of the topics that gets me really going, just flowing, because there's so much out there we don't know. And Graham Hancock has a prime, great example. Okay, the Ice Age was 5,000, 4,000 years ago, you want to say, or 12,000 years ago type thing? Okay, what about, if those caps, the ice, if the glaciers and the frozen northern climate extended so far, water levels would have been a lot lower. And if all the climate alarmists want to be oh, it's rising, blah 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 blah, yeah, you're okay. But if that's the case, what about? Actually, I'm gonna get that Peterbilt thing. Get out of my way, copper. But when the water melted, do you not think it probably sank some prime livable area? And this is where there's evidence from the Egyptians themselves that the Nile River went west into the Sahara, and that there were civilizations out there. That's not a grand conspiracy. The Egyptians have artwork that say it. And what, you don't want to... You'll magically read everything else, but not that. Just like we need to investigate the possibility that the pyramid was maybe a power source. Why are there the Baghdad batteries? Where did they come from? Come on, let's investigate this stuff. The light bulbs that were found in Egypt, the pyramids. I agree with Graham Hancock. The pyramids were probably not tombs. Were people buried there? Oh, without a doubt, people were buried there. But it was more of a, hey, this is a previous civilization and we worship them. And let's see if we can turn this one, because I just wanted to discover this one. Think about it this way. If our civilization tanked tomorrow, 100 years from now, not even that long, 100 years from now, because technology only, unless it's being continuously passed down, only lasts about a generation. There's people who don't even fully understand how nuclear reactors work now, and that's an honest truth. It's almost a lost art. So it doesn't take long for us to learn how to do things. You're talking writing, music, all for like farming techniques. It doesn't take long. It can be rediscovered, but it doesn't take long to lose. It takes a long time to rediscover again. So if we're not passing this information down and people don't have a way to keep track with it, they will resort back to like primitive states. And if they do, they pay homage to those who came before them, tribute. And a ruler would think, hey, those skyscrapers, that was the symbols of the gods who came before us. I want to be buried with them. Yeah, they would use our skyscrapers to be buried in. I have no doubt about that. You know what? It's been a while. Let's do this. Let's do this. And I'm going to do it from this view. Sue me. We're getting some bonus points here, ladies and gents. Okay. So I fully believe that that's one possibility. I really think I need to. I'm leaning towards just filming footage and then just dubbing over it, because then I don't get so distracted with my lines of thought like this. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Like a glove. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's some of my thoughts on the topic of ancient civilizations. I really do believe, level, we're purposely not exploring what we need to explore. I think it's absolutely atrocious, and we need to actually do better about it. Oh, do I have enough? Do I have enough? Do I have enough? Oh, do I have enough? Is it still there? I think it's still here. No, dang it. Ooh. I have to do a lot more work for that one, because I'm only getting like 15,000. Anyways, I will keep doing that stuff on my own. Watch Ancient Apocalypse. Study some stuff. Open your minds to the possibility of like realities that we're not fully in tune with yet, of exploring our past a lot more and getting to the truth of the matter. Yeah, encourage thought, encourage discussion. That's why you should like, subscribe, share, and comment, and definitely like and comment, because it does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And never forget, stay safe, party hard. Bye-bye.